So a few days ago, I broke my PR FMC mean. Before it was 35.00 and now it is 24.33, which is by far the biggest jump I've ever had in a PR. Maybe going from like a 32-second score one average to a 14-second score one average is another contender. But this is by far my best accomplishment in cubing so far. It's not like it's, crazy, like below my average. I do average sub 25 sometimes. But I'm just very happy with this result because I've struggled with comp nerves a lot when doing FMC. I've had very, very, very bad official means. I was getting like 35s in DNFs when I was averaging 27. And I, honestly did not think I would be able to get like any official results close to what I average. But I don't know, I just somehow pulled through at this comp, which I organized as well. I organized 2 means of FMC at the Irving Public Library, and I'm definitely organizing more PBQ comps in there soon. So here's the first scramble. It's actually quite a good scramble. The edge split is, it's written wrong. Wait, no, it isn't written wrong, sorry. It's 6 bad, 4 bad, 8 bad, which is pretty good. Even though it's like the average number, it's like good to have that 4 bad in there. But the EO I went with actually was not on the 4 bad, it was on the 8 bad, because there was a 3-move EO on the 8 bad, which is on the normal scramble here, where you have 4 bad edges on this U face, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you just do a U, and now you have 4 bad left. And after switching, you can see that the 4 bad edges are here, 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 and here. So F prime D just solves EO in 3 moves, which is very good. And then after switching again, it built RZP, by the way, too, which is another great thing. I think it also built it. No, it did not build it on 2 axes, just this one. But it's fine because this one was very, very good. So after this, hold on, let's see what the solution was. So after this, L2, D2, yes, and then R prime sets up this trigger for DR. This is a 9-move DR. It also has this very nice block, and also is 3/4 turns, although it is 3/4 turns 4C, which is not the best type of 3/4 turn DR, but out of the 4C DRs, it's 2 bad edges, so it's it's one of the better 3/4 turn 4C DRs, because 1, 2 bad edges, but you can't really complain. It's a 9-move DR with a huge block. So after switching again, I know there's a lot of switching in the scramble, but cool thing is that right here, you can just make fake HTR. I didn't end up going with that because I don't really know any techniques. I've seen some like weird solves where you like make fake HTR and then like switch the axis and start solving like the DR on green front or something, but I don't really know those techniques, so I decided not to do that. Anyways, instead of doing that, I did D2 L to reduce to 2/4 turns. And there's still quite a lot of blocks here. And then after switching again, let's see, U2L, yes. U2L gives a 1/4 turn plus, and it's the good 1/4 turn as well. It's the 2 edges, 2 UD layer edges are in E slice, and that's pretty good. So after switching again, I promise this is the last time, you can see that it's a pretty good case. I mean, not like amazing, but it's a pretty good case for setting up to DR, because it's U2, and then you get this cool F2D to F2L to make HTR, And this is, I believe, a 16 move HTR. And since it was a red orange DR, we want to leave E slice on the red and orange side. And I used floppy reduction, so I traced and it turned out even. And there's also 2 misoriented edges, which is good for even cases. So, and especially when they're on like the opposite layers like this, because my last move was an L. So doing an L2 just cancels a move, and it also gets us closer to solving the HTR. And now since it's odd, the parity is odd, and there's 4 misoriented edges, you want to get them all in the same face, and do an L2, and that also solves columns. And this isn't the best case, but it also doesn't even leave E-slice. It just solves the whole cube in 24 moves. And I found this pretty early, and I just submitted it because I didn't think I would find anything better. I probably should have looked more, because, 15 optimal off a 9 move DR, it's not the best. Although from what I think Krish calculated with Nissi, the optimal, I think it was like 14. So I, one off optimal. I'm not upset about that. And on to the next scramble. This next scramble was also a 24. The edge split was 6 bad, 6 bad, 2 bad, which is generally pretty good. I ended up going with 6 bad edge EO on green front, which was pretty good because it was also 4 moves. So the one I ended up going with was F prime to reduce to 2 bad, and then B, D prime, B prime. And I did a B prime because after this, you can do an R move, and that reduces to 44C, which is a 5 move RZP, pretty standard. And after switching, it's a pretty good case, which is, let's see, U prime R2 to make these blocks, and then D2 F2, and then D prime L to solve DR. And so this is a 3/4 turn DR, I believe. Let me check. No, this is a 2/4 turn DR, whoops. So U reduces to 1/4 turn, although it's the bad kind of 1/4 turn, the one with 1/3 edges misoriented. But I made it work by switching and going R2 L2 U to reduce to 0/4 turns, and then after this, I switched again because this case can be solved pretty easily because it's just 0/4 turn for E, and this particular case is already pretty good because U2 cancels with the inverse, and then L2, and then D, and then you have the trigger set up, so D R2 L2 EU makes makes HTR, and this HTR looks pretty good, and I have the solution right here. So U2 F2, what is this? U2 F2 D2 L2 B2 R2 U2 leaves E slice, so it just so happens to be 4x, but this was also solved in 0 moves. So the last solve of the mean was a 25. And while this wasn't quite as good as the 24s and not quite as good as my global average of 24.6, I'm still like completely happy with this because, in my mind, I thought I was gonna get like a 29 or like a DNF or something and just completely ruin the mean, which is what I've always done in the past in competition. But somehow I, didn't do that and pulled through and got a 25, which gave me a 24.33 mean. And I couldn't be more happy with this result. Like, I would not redo this attempt if given the chance. And it was actually a very creative solution, if I do say so myself. I'm very proud of this solution. So, and I actually think I might have gotten optimal off the DR. I haven't checked, but anyway, so the EO I ended up doing was D prime, L prime, B prime, R2U for a white front EO, 5 moves, and it also makes a very, very good RZP on this axis. So B2 creates this bar, R prime, L prime, U2, creates the whole bar plus these edges in place, and then R prime B makes an 11 move 2-quarter turn DR, and it's also the very good case of the 2-quarter turns because you've got the 2-quarter turn A case that can be solved with RU2 R prime, plus it is 2E, so you have one misoriented edge in the E slice, which is the best case. So I was very, very happy with this DR. Found it very quickly and just solved it. So I didn't actually end up switching at all in this solve, so I don't even need to go and grab other cubes. But after this, I just went straight to solving HTR. It was very, very basic HTR, which was U2, B2, L2, B2, to set up to the trigger LU2L. And this isn't actually a great HTR if you look for floppy reduction, because even though it's odd and it's 4E, the edges aren't in a good spot and the corners don't quite line up, and you just can't really get an amazing solution off of it. But if you look at at this axis, it's like very cool because you have D2, R2, D2, F2, and it makes 3E. And even though it isn't like leave E slice, it's still 3E left in 22 moves, which is very good. So I ended up using insertions to solve this, slice insertions. And this is the kind of creative part of the solution. So backing up a little bit, my last move was F2. So instead of doing F2, I did F prime, FW prime. So I inserted an S prime into the solution, which canceled a move. And this leaves a 4 cycle of centers plus a 4 cycle of edges. And you can tell this can be solved with a single E slice because there are no edges that are flipped in place. And it can be solved with D2S, D2. Oops, what was that? So if I had instead done FWF, this edge would be flipped in place, and this cannot be solved with an E slice, but this can. So backing up a little bit, I'm gonna just do the whole solution. There's DR in 11 moves, and then U2, B2, L2, B2, LU2L for HTR, and now D2, and this is a place where you can do S slice, which adds 2 moves because it's FMC, and then R2, D2, and then F prime, FW prime like before, and that solves the whole cube in 25 moves. So I solved 3 edges in 3 moves, not bad. It's not super surprising because, HTR and you get crazy insertions with HTR. But anyways, I'm super, super happy with the scramble, super, super happy with this mean. The next mean in the competition started with 24, so I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna beat it again. But I ended up getting a 27 on the last solve because I was kind of tired, and I also I ended up not going with the best HTR in the world. I mean, the best DR in the world. It was like a 12 move, 2 or 3/4 turn DR, which I generally don't tend to do, but I just couldn't find a better DR. But that's okay. I still have a mean coming up this weekend at the New England Championship, which I'm organizing, plus a mean the next weekend at an Albany comp organized by Evan. So hopefully I can beat this again there. It's totally possible. Maybe sub 24, who knows? But yeah, for now, I'm just so happy I've beaten this mental barrier. I can now do FMC without getting ridiculously nervous that I'm going to fail, because I know I can actually do it now. But yeah, thank you all for watching. It's been a long video. And, well, I guess I'll see you when I beat it the next time.